Casual Talk here, part 3, on how being ghetto and ignorant is like a global pandemic or a global disease. It's like an infection. It's continuing to spread, and how it's spreading is because the consumers that buys into the music industry that promotes the ghetto mentality, hip-hop culture, the ignorance that comes with hip-hop culture, with drill rap, drill music, talking about bodies, shooting up the club, gangs versus gangs, killing one another, stabbing each other's backs. And who's the main race who's in front of all of this? Black people. And in some of these music videos where some of these dudes are talking about making money, doing drugs, just being hard. Some of the lyrics is saying statements like, "You don't want the smoke." I've heard it all. I've heard neighbors blast this type of music. I've heard people driving around with this type of music while I'm driving. Some of these music videos, I would notice the same amount of details that they would always have women half naked or 78 to 80% naked, nude, twerking, sticking their tongues out, living it up. They're also part of that problem because they're dancing to the very fact that this is what's hot, this is what's cool, to people that actually are into things like this. Some people may think that, I just like the music, but then I've heard cases of people saying that some of these musics puts them in the mood to act hard, act out of character, act ratchet. I believe it's also a spirit. It could be an evil spiritual thing. And just to break it down and going into detail, this video is going to be mainly centered more around hood chicks or women who are ghetto. It's not just the men. It's not just the brothers. It's also the women. Being around the environment that I've been in while growing up in the hood, in the projects, in the ghetto, during my time in Brownsville, New York, I had 2 older sisters out of the 3 that I grew up seeing the way they lived, the way they moved, the music that they used to listen to. And there was a difference between 2 of my sisters. One was chill, even though she was just trying to be the one that was peaceful, but she got caught up because she also had to defend her sister as well when it came down to fights. And the other sister of mine, who was in that life, who still has some of those characteristics today. I still love my sister. I got love for her. She's still my sister. But this one that I spoke about many times, who's all about that life, being in the streets, there was a time she was in jail because of a fight. She went through so many fights. And I believe she was part of a gang too. This same sister of mine got tattoos. Way more than my other sister. I'm against tattoos now. Even though I got some, I no longer support it because I want to change my line of faith and turn my life around, because I realized at some point in life, stuff like that, especially the things that I want to leave behind that I thought that was cool, fashionable, it didn't really help me spiritually. Because my relationship with God, I truly care about. One of the things that I noticed, regardless of both my sisters, because the reason why I brought up both of their situations is that there's a difference between different black women's characters. You got the ones who are ghetto, loud, ratchet, who fits the stereotype, like one of my sisters did, the one that I told you I was always in that street life. Thank God she's still alive. And my other sister that was just trying to protect her, be there for her, and act like a sister, but it was not really about that life. There's people who wants to be in the drama, and there's people that wants to be out of the drama. Or the people that's in between. Okay? Now, this is not just a black thing. Just like in the thumbnail, I showed different races of women from different backgrounds. It's not just black women. There's Hispanic. There's Asian. There's white. All the videos that I found on YouTube, even that are on TikTok, you could search this up and you could see the way a lot of these women are carrying themselves. I seen a TikTok video of an Asian chick that made a TikTok about how she basically said in the caption that when you're interested in dating hood dudes, and then she got a reality check from this drill rapper lyrics about how many bodies that got shot and all the dudes that got shot up and that died and lost their lives, like all this foolishness. And I was like, what in the world? There's women that are into dudes like this. And you know what I noticed? The same chicks from different backgrounds and different ethnic groups that is into black men. Most of the cases, from my experience, from what I've seen, how they looked like, how they carried themselves. They carried themselves imitating how the stereotypical black woman on social media acts. Because they think in their mind that this is what black men likes. No, this is what hood, ghetto black men, that's what they like. They imitate black women that are stereotypes. And then you see this war and drama happening online, and I'm pretty sure you guys seen it before, where there's black women that were ghetto, of course, accused. Who was it? It was a female Asian female celebrity. I forgot, she was Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, I forgot. Accusing her of having a black scent. Like, what the heck? What is a black scent? Black scent is basically talking ghetto. I made a video about that, trying to prove my point that black people that are ghetto should not associate all black people as in the exact same boat. No. I'm not messing with that. I'm not fitting that stereotype. I don't classify myself to be like that, because a lot of other black people that tries to put all black people in the same box are hypocrites. Those are the same brothers and sisters that if something went down, something happens to you, where are they? If it's a black on black crime. Like I said before, a lot of black people don't care about one another like that. We're not together. Only those who has some sense and who has that mindset, they act better than most other hood chicks, hood dudes that are out here. I feel there's a separation. There's a barrier. Because the black people that I'm referring to that are ghetto, about the poverty lifestyle, the criminal history, flashing their guns, thinking that's all cool to talk about who they shot up, all the tattoos that they got, the bodies that they got. And there's people that are reciting these lyrics. And they don't realize this is damaging to the youth. This is damaging to the next generations after the next generations. And there's fathers who are also part of this lifestyle, teaching their sons to be a hood dude, a hoodlum. Be just like them, Pookie and Ray Ray. To do drugs, to be in the streets, to drop out of high school for the wrong reasons. What is so cool about losing your life in your early 20s or your early teens for violence. Just to prove somebody wrong. Just for some street beef. And women of different races that are supporting this are toxic, that are into men like this, are not even, they got demons and they got a lot of problems going on. Those are the type of women I wouldn't even want to associate around or just be around in general. I could probably say my wife is not like this. She's not about that life. She's not about the streets. I've encountered women of different backgrounds, different races, who are Hispanic, white, Asian, who are hood and ghetto. They didn't like me. They basically had the exact same mentality of the stereotypical hood chick, Keisha, the Shanique was. In the eyes of black people. Basically the black hood ghetto chicks. They basically had that same mentality that, oh, he's a lame. He don't got no swag. He's not sexy. Ugh, he's a geek. He's a nerd. Educated lame. Square. Too skinny. The moment they see the dudes who are the ballers, the hustlers, street rappers, in and out of jail, tattoos, it's not just about the muscles. It's not just about their height. It's also how to carry themselves as well. Looks could also matter to a degree, but at the exact same time, from what I've seen, those are the type of dudes that they normally like. And I noticed this is what they have in common. This is what they have in common. A lot of hood chicks that grew up with the same exact mentality. Most of the time, the type of black men that they normally go after is the exact same way. Pookie and Ray Ray, Tyrone. The dudes that was actually in that life. They find that exciting. They will have kids with these men. They'll become baby moms to these men. Of course, I could bring up Nick Cannon. He's no better, but a deadbeat dad is a deadbeat dad. A bum is a bum. Different circumstances happens. Things happen. But at the exact same time, what is there to support? What is there to uplift from this? What is there to learn from this? So no, this is not just a black thing. This is not just a black woman thing. I'm not bashing only, oh, all black women are like this. No, I'm not saying none of that. I met some well-educated black women. Women that you would think that, oh, she's about the streets. But then the moment you hear her, she opens her mouth. She is well-spoken. I've met some that were like that. Even the ones that actually had the look of an educated black woman and carried themselves like that and talked like that. There's a lot of hood dudes that'll go after a woman like that because they know what they bring to the table. But at the exact same time, a lot of those men wouldn't go after women like that either because they're intimidating to them, because they already know for themselves that she's not on my level. I can't play games with her. She's going to want, most of the time for women like that, they're going to want a brother who's on the same page as them or has more. They're going to want somebody that has something in common with them. But even though, like I said, there are some educated black women that's also into hood dudes as well. There are cases like that also. So it depends on the person's taste, their character, what they grew up to see, what they grew up to be influenced by, what they were influenced by, what they see on social media, who they grew up around, and what they were taught as well. I'm trying to prove a point. It's not a black-only thing. It's a mindset thing. It's a ghetto mindset. It's a mentality that is spreading like wildfire. Part of the solution is to talk about it, to warn other people about it. Watch out for that. Stand clear for the closing doors, please. Stay away from it. Even when you catch yourself being around that too, it's best to make your exit out of it. Too much drama. Having this mindset and being around people that is about this life, because from all the cases that I've heard about, and from what I've heard, what I've seen, something always leads to one way, one thing or another. Hate comes in many forms. Just because you're cool with this hood dude and that hood dude, most cases, especially if you got more than them, you're elevating yourself and they're not, there's going to be some jealousy involved. Same for the women. Same for the women. It is a global pandemic. I've seen videos of Japanese people who appreciated black people. And what was it for? Hip hop, rap, being in the streets. They seen it as cool. And I'm pretty sure you guys heard this term. Other people of different races, they will glorify the ignorance and the ghetto mentality of being black when it comes down to the stereotypes, but they don't want to be associated with it when it comes down to the crime and doing the time. Just for short, so many people think it's cool to be black until they're treated like someone that's black. So many people say, oh, it's cool, hip hop, rap, drill music, partying, turning it up. The moment the police comes, a lot of people don't want to act like that no more. The ones that has some sense at least. I said what I gotta say, and I'm making this video short because I've already covered this and dealing with ignorant ghetto black neighbors. I think it was part 2 or part 3. It was one of those where I talk about the stereotypical hood chicks. The ones that actually has no choice but to be in this environment or to have no choice but to grow up in this type of environment. Because I'm just going to keep it real. There's women that are single mothers right now to this day that had no choice but to be aggressive because they had to play the roles as both the mother and the father because the father was absent out of the children's lives. So I understand why there's some women that ends up turning to be like this. And it's not just black women that acts aggressive. I've seen Hispanic women that are aggressive. White women that were also aggressive. Asian women also aggressive. It's acceptable though, right? But when it's a black woman, it's ratchet, it's nasty. Ratchet, nasty, and ghetto applies to every single background. It's a mindset and it's the character in the end of the day. Point blank. Just like how right is right and wrong is wrong no matter what. Classy is classy and unruly is unruly. This is common sense. Casual talk here. Peace out. This is part 3 to how being ghetto and ignorant is like a global pandemic. Let me know what you think.